So I want to start with the how being about my outcomes and my expectation. I want to make sure that when I'm talking to my client that they know how to set a outcome and their expectations. So when I'm coaching someone, we're going into the how, and the how is about this is what we're going to do. We're going to over the next 6 months, we're going to do this. Over the next 5 months, we're going to do this. Is how we're going to do it. These are the steps we're going to take. And of course, if you are the first time with me, I live in an area where the Bible is considered to be irrelevant. So I bring the Bible into business constantly. And even though we're going to talk about business principles, I want to show you where it is in the scriptures so that your conscience and your confidence are aligned biblically with your actions. You're not worried about whether or not God's behind it. I want you to know God's behind your success. God actually wants you to be successful. And the more you can get that congruent, the faster you can go forward. And so we need to have this place where the Bible is actually helping us understand. And so the Bible gives us this aspect of how about setting outcomes and setting expectations. So you want to make sure you're setting outcomes, setting your expectations, what you want to do, what you're going to accomplish. Not only the expectation of, oh, I'm going to get this in a couple of months, or this is what I'm going to have, this kind of car I'm going to get. No, the expectations of this is what I'm going to do every single day to get there. This is the routine I'm going to do. A lot of people think expectations, oh, I'm just going to basically have my vision board out there and this is what I'm expecting in life. But I want you to have your expectation, what you are expecting, the outcome expectation, but I want you to have the expectation of what process you're going to take every single day, what you're going to do. And we're going to start off with the first aspect of things, which we're going to start in Luke chapter 9:51. Luke chapter 9:51 is beautiful. Jesus is now feeling the pull to his graduation. He's feeling this draw to go to his next level. And the Bible tells us really quick. Let's look at it in verse 51. If you have your Bible, pull it out. If you don't, that's fine. Just write a little note because we're going to get into the business principles of it in a moment. But we're going to see it in the scriptures. Now it came to pass. So there's a certain time. Jesus is now, when the time had come for him to be received up. So Jesus is now ready to go to his next level. He's going to his next level. He's lived out this last season. He's now in a new season. The time is transitioning. How many of you feel like you're in a time of transitioning? You feel like you're in that transitional time. And that's what the feeling is now it's time, it's come to pass. This is past. Something's coming to pass. Something's coming to an end. Something's a brand new start. And it's time for me to get ready for my next level. And when you realize that you're getting ready for your next level, you'll feel it before you know it, right? You'll feel it. You'll sense it. Some people say, oh, you know what? The grace is lifting on something. Well, you know that. You're getting ready for your next level. Jesus is expecting this next level. Why? Because he knows his outcome. He knows where he wants to go. When you're ready for your next level, you're going to feel this draw up. And I love the fact that it says he's being ready. He's getting ready to be received up. Received up. He's not going down. Jesus is not thinking about, I'm going to go to the grave for 3 days and then I'm going to go up. No, he's not thinking about that. We don't plan our decrease or our adjustments. That was just an adjustment to go into the grave and to come up. That was not really the whole plan. The whole plan was resurrection at the right hand of the Father. So his plan, his outcome is not, hey, I've got to go through a tough time here. I've got to learn a lot of difficult things, and I'm just gonna go to the grave. I'm gonna die. He's not thinking about any of that. He's thinking about it's time for me to be received up. I want to help you here. It's important that you think about going up and not going down. When you know that there's going to be some things that are going to be challenging when you're going to your next level, don't think about it. Jesus could have sit there and with people going, you know what, he told them, I'm going to die. I'm going to Jerusalem. But he says, I'm just going to die. And, I just don't know if I want to die. And he didn't go through, I've got to go through these difficult times and, I'm going to carry a cross and they're going to put things in my ankles. And he didn't go through any of that. He just literally was thinking about what the outcome was. The outcome was, I'm going to go through some things. We're not going to talk about that, but what's the outcome? And a lot of people talk themselves out of getting to the outcome because they're so busy talking themselves into the pain that they're going to experience. Don't be pain oriented, be outcome oriented. And then when you help your client be outcome oriented, then it will pull them to the next level to when they're going through the pain, they're going through the challenges that success calls for. They're not going to be overwhelmed by it. It's just going to pull them to that next level. And so Jesus is being pulled to the next level when he's being ready. He's right. The time has come for him to be received up. Now, I want you to, if you're a highlighter in your Bible, if you read a paper Bible, highlight it. If you have ability to highlight in any of your smart things in your Bible, highlight that, or just write this scripture down and just write received up. That's the outcome where we're going. We're going to this next level. We're going to have this outcome. Then the next thing it said that when he found his outcome, when he knew his outcome, then he set his face. Now, this is important. You want to set your face. I do a whole training on being obsessed. Jesus was obsessed with his passion, with his outcome. He set his face to go to Jerusalem. Now, when you set your face to go to do something, that your focus, your intent, and you have to set your face to the outcome. So write that down. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to set your face to your outcome. I want you to tell your people and train your people and know that when you're building a knowledge-based business, you have to build within it an aspect where people not only analyze who they are, but they analyze where they're going. They set their face to it, and they set that before they and then they start to move towards that. What do you want out of this? What do you want to encounter? When you download my app, when you download my coaching app, the first thing is we have an assessment. What do we want? Okay, we are going to do a little wheel assessment. The wheel assessment is going to cover 9 areas of your life: your family, your finances, your fitness. It's going to cover all these things, and you're going to gauge yourself. And when you gauge yourself, you're going to gauge yourself 1 to 10 where you're at. And the things that we cover, what we start to deal with first is we start to deal with the aspects that are the lowest on that range. We start to deal with those aspects because the lowest parts of the range, if you go 1 to 10 and you're 9 on family, you're 9 on fitness, and you're 9 on, and you have 4 and 3 and on other aspects, we start to raise those areas up because those are sabotage areas. And you're doing well in the others. In the others, everything will elevate. Well, I do this because we're setting outcomes. I want to give them an assessment so that we can now start setting an outcome. And when we set the outcome, then we start setting the goals. The goals are the expectations. Now, the goals are never for me, and I want you to know for you and for anybody you work with, you don't have them set goals just so that they can see the outcome. The setting goals is about the steps that they take every single day to get that outcome. So we're going to set this goal, but I have benchmarks that you have to do every day. If I'm going to have a book done, if I have to have a book done in 2 weeks, that means I'm looking at how many chapters I have to write. Let's say I'm starting today. I'm going to have a book done in 2 weeks. Either I'm going to film and I'm going to do 12 chapters. Either I'm going to film or record, or I'm going to write every single day 1 chapter to get ready to do it. Now, that's my expectation. I put an expectation on me every single day that I'm going to work every day for. My goal is to reach this number of words. A lot of writers have 2,000 words. They write 2,000 words a day. That's their thing. They write 2,000 words. They're done for the day. They're finished. That's their goal. They set that expectation. They're walking in that expectation every day. Tomorrow, they expect to do another 2,000 words. The next day, they expect to do another 2,000 words. The week by week. So there's on Wednesday nights, I'm doing filming on leadership, and that's going to become a book. On Thursday mornings, I'm doing filming on business principles. That's going to become a book, right? Then I have another day that I'm doing on Tuesday mornings. I'm speaking to men. I speak to men every Tuesday morning. That's a book, right? Everything I'm doing is becoming a book that then becomes a speech that becomes, right? So I'm working on 3 books right now just by what I'm teaching, what I'm training. And so that's the way I set my life up, with expectation. I'm about to have 2 other trainings that I'm adding, a Wednesday morning training and a Saturday morning training. All of those things will become books, right? Because once the content is there, it might as well be drilled down into written form, and from written form to speaking, and then to courses. Now, these will be courses that will be right. That's what you're doing. You're going to do the same thing. So you're going to set your face, and when you set your face, you're going to now begin to have an expectation. That's what this set your face. He already knows the outcome. I'm going to be received up. The outcome is, but what am I going to do? I'm going to set my face. I'm going to start building expectation. I'm going to build in my life every single day what I'm expecting to do and what's expected of me. in order to have the success that I want. I know we put expectation as just the goal, but don't ever make a goal without the expected steps necessary. So I'm going to set a goal, but what am I going to do? Every day I've got to visit this goal. Every day I've got to visit this, or every 2 days, or every 3 days, whatever your system is, whatever your process. I'll show you that in a little bit. So the next thing is in the Bible talks about in Chronicles, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says David set his affections. So when you have a goal, you don't only set your face, but you want to set your affections. Write that down. I want to set my heart, my expectation, but my affections, the way I feel, the way it makes me, the desire, the drive, the cravings of it. What am I going to do when I have this? How am I going to feel when I have this? So set your affections. Know that you have to set your affections. The Bible says Jesus set joy in front of him as his affection. What are you going to feel? Well, when I finally do this, I'm going to feel so good about myself. When I finally do this, I'm going to feel. Set your affections. Make sure that your affections are set. And then you're going to have this expectation that each and every day you work on it, that expectation is giving you that satisfaction. You're not just waiting with delayed gratification to feel good, but you're feeling good because you're accomplishing it every day. You're feeling good because you're working. You decide I'm going to lose 15 pounds or 10 pounds. You go into the gym, you eat the right, you do that, and you just love the fact that you're actually celebrating your expectation. My expectation is every day I've got to eat this. Every day I've got to do this. Every day I've got to drink this much water. Every day. And now you're not just setting your expectation and your affections on the accomplishment that I've lost 15 pounds, but now I've set my affections on the fact that I'm doing it every day. Can you feel it? Can you feel it, people? Can you feel it in the house, boy? I can feel it in myself that I love this, that I'm doing this, I'm accomplishing. I accomplish this every day. So I come every Thursday, and guess what? What I do, I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to the people on Thursday. I start planning. I'm on Thursday morning. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I study it. I get it ready. This is not stuff that I'm just like in a can. I'm studying every week to bring. And so I'm going to talk to you. And we're going to go, we're going to do this. It's going to be fun. And guess what I think? Oh, this is going to be fun because I'm writing another chapter in my book. We're getting another chapter done. I'm so excited. And my affections are involved. I'm so excited about getting it done. I'm excited about talking to you because I'm excited. I'm one step, right? I'm one step further. And when we start, I'm accomplishing one more thing, you get those affections done. The next thing the Bible says, this is in Colossians 3:2. The Bible says, set your mind on things above. Again, set your mind on things above, not on things that are beneath. Don't let anything pull you down. Keep your mind up. Keep it up. This is going to work. Keep it high. This is what my outcome is going to be. Don't let anything pull your affections, pull your thoughts down, pull your mind down. This is all about setting your mind. When you set your expectation, you're stepping up. You're keeping yourself in that upward wind. You're winding upward, constantly like a staircase, winding upward, always going to your next level, always believing. So when you set yourself up with these expectations, every day I'm going to write. Every day I'm going to drink enough water. Every day I'm going to eat less than I did the day before. Whatever it is, every day I'm doing this. When you put yourself in those expectations, and those expectations are like, woo, I've accomplished it. Now you're celebrating what you've accomplished, your expectation. Now you're in this place where you're moving forward. So let me start to break down some of the just bullet points of these thoughts of setting. The first thing is you want to know in your how to set your outcomes. And how do you set your outcomes? You first by assessing. So write this down. I'm going to give you these bullet points. They're going to be real quick, and I just want you to write them down because I'm going to just share a bit on each one of them as we go. But when I'm working with a client, the first thing we do is we set the outcomes. We set the outcome. We set the expectations of where they want, the outcomes of where they want to go, but the expectations of what we're going to do every day. But I already told you we break that down with a wheel of sorts, or it's actually a slider of sorts, where we're going to find out where are your pain points. And we want to know where your pain is, where your pleasure is. We want to know what you want to change and what you want to accomplish. And we want to help you get fit and have the results that you want: physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, financial, whatever it is. And they slide those, and they find themselves in a position where after they choose that assessment, then it starts to say, okay, these are the 3 areas that we're going to hit with your next levels, with your next 60 days, 90-day goals, right? 21 days, whatever it may be. We're going to set these as goals. So these are the goals. What are we going to do in those goals? Right now, what we're going to do every day in those goals. So what am I doing? First, we start with an assessment. When you are going to help someone, if you're in the restaurant business, you go in and you're a restaurant coach, you go in and you're going to assess them. If you're a physician, you go in and you have an assessment. You have to do an assessment. If you're an auto repair guy, someone brings or a lady, someone brings their automobile to you. What's the first thing? We're going to diagnostic, right? Diagnostics. So when you realize assessment is going to be the first aspect of everything. When you're working with your people, try to help them have an assessment. Even if you can't work one-on-one with them, try to create some kind of assessment where they're going to be able to red dot themselves. Now, we've all been to, I think we've all been to a mall. And where you go to the mall, you have a specific store you want to go to. You find yourself looking for a specific store. Well, what's the first thing you look for? You don't look for the store. The first thing you look for is the map. You look for the map, and what's the first thing you're looking for on the map? You're going to the map and you're going, okay, where are you? And the mall people are incredibly smart. They're like, they put a big red dot there that says you are here. Why? Because everyone wants to know where we're starting. If you don't know where you're starting from, then your assignment or your outcome is going to be improper because you don't actually know where you're starting from. You're starting from a place that you think you're closer than you are, or you think you're further than you are. But when you start to assess yourself properly and you assess the circumstances properly and you see where you are and you see where you want to go, then when it comes to setting the steps that are necessary to get there, then it's extremely easy because well, we're going to go down here. There's Nordstrom's. We're going to take a left at Nordstrom. We're going to take a right over there at the Apple store. We're going to take another left. Well, these are now markers on the way. When you learn how to assess properly and you assess yourself properly, then you are literally going to help. Now, one of the things that's important as a coach when you're building a coaching business is you have to have proper ability to help people assess their circumstances. People don't have proper margins. They don't actually see themselves properly. They don't see where they are properly. They don't see how far they are from their outcomes or how close they are from their outcomes. And so when you realize that people are coming to you with these imaginations, it's not that they're wrong or they're bad. It's just we don't know how to see ourselves properly. And so there's a lot of people that are underestimating themselves. There's a lot of people that are overestimate themselves. And we're not going to think you're overestimating yourself, but what we're going to do is we're going to help them dial in with assessment. We're going to help them. We're going to give them some way to assess themselves. If I don't know, I mean, I know there's some coaches here, some people here that are helping people in your book is about overcoming grief. Then your speaking is about, the processes of overcoming grief, and then they're going to get into a coaching system with you or some kind of e-course with you. Somehow you're going to have to help them go, either I'm closer than I think or I'm further than I think. You're going to have to help them because we want them to take realistic steps. If I'm asking them to take 10 steps and they think they're 5 steps away, then they're going to give me kickback. And as their coach, I don't want kickback. I want to make sure that they're with me. We're both on the same page before we start this journey. So I want to make sure that we both are dialed in. We both understand. I'm not just, and when I coach, because my coaching is results coaching, my coaching is different than just I'm trying to coach one thing. I'm actually coaching people to their next level. People who are very successful in one aspect of business and but they're failing in their family or they're one at something else. So I'm actually coaching them in areas where they really need high level growth. And they don't know how much that's sabotaging their lives. And so we need some real, I call it red dot, but it's a reality check, right? We want to give them a reality check. And a part of creating a coaching system or creating a system that you're helping people in even how-tos is that they need to have a reality check. And so we'll say, we'll do YouTube or we'll watch a YouTube, video that says how to build how to build a shed in your backyard in just 10 minutes. Okay, so that person comes and then we watch that and the person watching going, I don't even know what a hammer and a nail is. Well, that's now the problem with some of the how-tos is that we're giving how-tos to people that don't actually know anything. They don't know anything. So when you have, as a coach, the ability to help people assess themselves, to actually be able to assess them. So the best videos I like is when someone goes, this is a video on how to build the shed the shed in 10 minutes. But if you have not watched my video on how a hammer and a nail work, go and watch that first, right? That's smart, because now you're giving a person an ability to go and have a bit of an assessment of themselves. You're helping them understand that I'm not quite in the making it happen in 10 minutes, because I don't actually know how to have a hammer. My thumb is all falling off because I tried to do it before. And, it's like, we just want to make sure we help people assess themselves. So write down, and in this first part, write down, set your assessment, red dot. We want to be like them all, help people find out where they are, find out where they're going, and then give them the steps necessary and build that expectation where they're doing it. Number two, the next aspect of this, and number two is, from this point, we want to help them set measurable outcomes. Now, this is the daily activity. This is the activity where we're going to, or it could be weekly activity, monthly activity. We want to have measurable results. So when I say my expectation is every day to write 2,000 words, or that's someone else, that's actually another writer's expectation, but their expectation is to write 2,000 words every day. Well, that's their measurable outcome. When they hit that measure, when they hit that number, 2,000 words, they walk away. They may have 2,500 words in them for that day, but they have now stepped away, and they're going to go and do something else, because tomorrow they're going to need 2,000 words. And they've done it. They've accomplished it. That's a measurable outcome. They have now set this in a very specific position, that they've given themselves that measurable outcome. Make sure that whatever you do in your working with your clients, you give them measurable outcomes. When you're working with them and you're helping them understand, this is what we're going to do, or whether you're doing it in group form or whether you're doing it on one-on-one. I don't know what your coaching system is going to look like, but whatever you're doing, whenever you're doing it, you're going to do that in one-on-one. You're going to give them in such a way. It is a measurable outcome. It's an opportunity for them to be able to go, I won today. I won today. If a person doesn't have strikes of victory on a daily basis heading to a goal, then they will get discouraged. And so give them something that gives them I did it. I did it. I did it. Little wins make a big, massive battle win, right? And so we want to make sure we give constant little wins to our people, our leaders, to our teams, to the people, clients that we're working with. We want to make sure that we're giving those measurable outcomes. The next aspect is declare those outcomes. Don't let people be quiet about them. If you're going to write a book, declare it. Put yourself out there. Put pressure on yourself. One of the things that most people don't ever see is the fact that the people with a chip on the shoulders always try to rule the world, right? So if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't put something on your shoulders, a little chip, a little something that says, you know what, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And someone goes, no, you're not going to do it. And you go, what? I'm going to do it. You just watch me. Well, that is the fire in the belly. That's the fire in you have to put yourself in a position where you are going to declare your outcome. I have a friend that wrote theirs down, and they put it on Facebook. I have another friend who tattooed theirs and put it on, and made it a tattoo, their outcome, that what they were going to accomplish. And you can tattoo, brand it, whatever you want to do, but make sure you're getting it out there. You're letting people know, this is what we're expecting. This is where I'm going. What is that going to do? That's going to put pressure on you. And when you put that pressure on you, you're going to find a fire in your belly. You're going to find something in you that goes, you know what? I've got to accomplish this. I already said it. I remember when I first started working online, doing videos online, it was in 2016. I knew nothing about online marketing, knew nothing about doing videos on marketing. All the video work that I'd done was television. I'd been on television studios, hosting television programs. And in television, everything is perfect, right? Your makeup's perfect, the lighting is perfect, the atmosphere is perfect. Everything is a controlled environment. Nothing is random. Nothing's like, hey, I saw my phone. None of that. It's all very planned and systematic. And so I was used to that. I was used to everything being perfect. And then I saw how things were rolling online. It's like, okay, perfection is not the goal. It's content and connection and relationship and transparency and all that. Well, there's no transparency in television because your hair is perfect. You've never seen some of these newscasters with their hair out. They just never, unless you go to social media, maybe they'll do it. But it's very difficult because you're so used to being a perfect world. And so I remember when I first decided in 2016, I'm going online and I'm going online. I'm going to do something. Well, I started something called Barry Buster on Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoons at 1 p.m. And what I did is I got online and I said, I am going to meet at 1 p.m. every Tuesday with teaching on Barry Buster training and how to break out of your limitation on Facebook Live. It's like, I never even ran a Facebook Live. I didn't even know how Facebook Live worked. I had no idea even what kind of cameras I was going to use. I ended up, after making that declaration, going in, made it on Instagram, that declaration on Facebook. And then I finally go, I need a camera. I need a web camera. How do I connect it? And so I went and bought all this stuff, bought a little web camera. I think at first I started off with my laptop, and I put my laptop up, put it up, and just had the camera there, and there's glare and there's noise around me, and it's not perfect, and I look all messed up. You can go to my YouTube, you can find those originals, and I'm doing these things, and even on my Instagram, I'm doing these videos, and I'm just talking to people about the for 20 minutes. I'm going to give you 20 minutes of just how to break through limitations, how to just coaching. Well, I just did that. That's what I did. Oh, the next thing, the first time I get on, and man, I'm having technical problems, technical issues, having all kinds of issues, but I'm doing it. And one time I tried to get real fancy. I tried to do Instagram, got my phone over here, got my computer here, and then I said, let me go back to this first thing I said. I'm going to be here every Tuesday. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I have to be here now every Tuesday. I put myself in this, I declared the outcome. I'm going to do this every Tuesday. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm learning this, but I'm here to help you. And I'm going to do it for a year. I put that out there, and I was stuck. So there was times that I'm on the plane. I'm just about to take off, and I'm shooting this video. I'm like, listen, I got to come early, guys, because I'm just boarding the plane, but I want you to know I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm going to do a 1 minute today. There's 1 minute. I Barry Buster. I'm here for you. And I just stuck with it. There's times that I'm on an international flight and I can't do video, and I'm sitting, and I didn't know how to Hootsuite. I had none of that. I didn't know it. I just was figuring it out. And so I type up something and then I post it. I'm like, I'm here, guys. I'm here. I'm on the plane. I can't do anything. So I'm just typing up this thought for you today. But I showed up. And it put me in a position where I showed up. And then I learned that there was other aspects. And then I added the IG. IG came out with live, and I was trying to do IG live, and I was trying to be cool, right? And so you have to put yourself out there, and you have to give yourself this, and you have to do that for your clients. You have to tell them, listen, we're going to actually let people know what we're doing. And when I was doing strictly executive coaching, it was harder for them because these people are running, $100 million companies, $50 million companies, and they're very private. They're not open. So we would find ways to help them declare their outcomes, declare what they're going to accomplish, declare who they're going to be. I'm going to buy this company. I'm going to build this thing. And you just have to do it, whether it's through vision boarding or whatever it may be. Have them declare it. Have a person declare, because once a person declares it, you light the match and fire starts to go. All right, I'm not even nearly into what I need to cover with you today. So declare your outcomes. The next thing is, the next point, and write this down, is you want to make sure that when you do this, you're going to create systems, processes, and routines. Systems, processes, and routines. Now, this is what's really important, is because a part of that, when I say that 2,000 words, or I'm filming on this day this, and this day this, and that day this, and I'm doing this on that day. If you see my life's routine is very systematic. There's nothing. My time is well planned. I don't do anything that's random. And if I do have random moments, leisure moments, they've been planned moments. I do it out of planning. And it's not because I'm It's not because I'm an anal person. It's just the fact is that I do want to make sure that I know how and what in what I'm supposed to be doing and in what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I try to keep it all very systematic. And I have leisure time. It's not that I have leisure time. I'll have like every day with my wife and I. Every day I'll be up here in my office, or I'll go to go somewhere. I'm traveling, do whatever, come back. Every day we have coffee together. Every day we watch a teaching, a training together. We sit down, and that's my day. That's planned, but that's our leisure time. We catch up, we drink coffee, we hang out, we talk about the Bible, we talk about business, we talk about what she's doing, we talk about what's going on. But that's every day. That's planned. That's not random. That's what we're gonna do. We'll do it here and just shortly. We'll do it every single day. So we'll go do that. Right now, that's every day. Every Monday is my family day. Monday's phone goes off. I'm done traveling from the week. I may be flying home on Monday, but maybe sometimes. But that day is off. The phone's off, computer's off, everything's off. It's family day, hanging out with the family, right? Just chilling. Well, that's my day. Tuesday is going to be I'm teaching men on Tuesday mornings, and then I'm dealing with coaching and filming the rest of the day. On Wednesday, I'm dealing with my staff. I have our staff meeting. We have 14 staff members that I have directly, staff members that I'm working with. So I deal with my staff. And then from them, we give them their assignments the rest of the day. And then on Wednesday nights, I've been teaching on leadership. I teach on leadership. And then Thursday mornings, I'm here. Then I'll have interviews. I have interviews, podcast interviews, and different interviews that I'm doing, right? And then in that evening, I'm chilling. We're able to do stuff. My wife and I chill that night, right? And so my Fridays are my writing days. I'm writing every day, but Friday I'm dialing in. I'm writing. Saturday is my day to plan my next training, my next teaching. I'm doing that. And then I'm meeting with influencers on Saturday mornings. And then Sunday is my day that I go to church and I preach and I do whatever I got to do. That's my day, right? So I have my life, and this is the macro view of it, but I have my life so systematic. So people go, hey, can I get on calendar? We're like, here's my calendar. And they go, well, when? I'm like, you just got to find a spot there, because this is how I don't have any open gaps. And if I can try to make some spaces, and I'm not telling you that you have to be like me, but I'm telling you, the more systematic, the more process oriented you could be, the more routine you can be, the more success you'll have. When you know exactly what you're doing with your time, it's like knowing what you did with your money. Have you ever had a bunch of money and you come in and all of a sudden you just start spending by, and you're not really keeping track, and you go, where did all my money go? Well, time is the same way. Time will get away from you, because time spins whether you want to spend it or not. Time is spending right now. We're spending this time. We're paying attention to something. So when you realize you're always paying and time is always spending, you want to make sure that that's the most important commodity of your life, is how you spend your time. And if you don't know how you spend your time, then you will never know how you spend your money. And if you don't spend your time properly and intentionally, you will never make money properly and intentionally. So you want to make sure that you're constantly thinking about, these are the things that are important. I do have leisure time, but it's all planned. It's not like and I will never just go, hey, I'm taking. Sometimes I'll just say, hey, family, let's go do something. We had a rough week or whatever. I'm able to cancel everything and we go do that. But that's intentional. I do things intentionally. And so I want to make sure that when you're thinking in your life terms, you're thinking systematic. So if I'm in your seat and I'm working on a book I'm an author, speaker, coach, I'm looking at my calendar. I'm going, on Tuesdays, I'm going to make sure that every Tuesday I'm writing or I'm filming something that's going to go into my book. Right now I'm doing 3 books. I'm doing 3 books because of all the videos that I'm doing, right? So right now I'm going to, and this is the first season that I've actually taken. I only have one of my books have been transcribed. The rest of my books I've sit down and I write. I usually sit down and write. This is the first time I'm actually taking the time to actually take the videos and go, man, I have so much content coming out of me. I'm not going to let it just be video. I want to actually take it, but I don't have time to write all of these books, because I'm actually writing a book. I'm actually physically sitting down and writing a book, and I want to make sure that I get this content in book form. So I'm taking all of these videos and I'm making these into a book, into books. Well, that's new for me. but I'm excited about it because it's a new system, it's a new process, it's a new routine for me. And my outcome is at the end of this, I'm going to have a book. I'm going to have a book for each one of these subjects. And how I release and when I release, that's going to be a different subject, but I'm going to make sure I do it. Well, you can do the same thing. The more structured you are, the more systematic you are, the more process you are, oriented you are. And so build a system for anything. Every Tuesday, I'm going to do this. And this is just the simplicity of building a system. Every day we're going to do this. Every day at this time we're going to do this. We're going to, you don't know this term, you don't know this, but McDonald's, they when they first created the whole idea of McDonald's chain was that they took what was in business, and they were able to take a very systematic approach to a business and build burgers on an assembly line, right? It's an assembly line. So what you do in creating a system is you create an assembly line. Well, when they decided they want to come out with something other than just a regular burger, they actually created a song, and they created a kind of a mantra of what it was: 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on a sesame seed bun, something like that, right? 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions. See, I mean, I learned it when I was a little kid. I still have it, right? And I haven't. But the fact is they created this. They showed us how this is how the system of putting together a Big Mac is, right? And so when you realize that's going to be the process of everything, you're going to build an assembly line of how you're organizing something. So if I'm taking and I want to assembly line a car, we're going to take first, you're going to take the frame, they're going to put on I don't know, I've never built a car, but you put a frame, you put on the wheels, you put on you put in the seats, and you put in the dashboard, and you put all that in, then you put on the whole body, and you sit down. Well, that's how systems work, because you know what you start with and you know what you end with. And when you're going to build out a system and a process, you're going to build in a routine. You're going to know what you start with. I start with a bunch of components. Well, then by the end of it, the next day, I'm going to put this component together. I'm going to put this component together. I'm going to put this component together, put this component together. And by the end of it, you're going to have the full outcome. Does that make sense to you? Please let me know in the chat that makes sense, because it's important that you realize it's going to be very systematic. And it's going to be, systems are about one step at a time, one step at a time. When you make one step at a time and you do that one step at a time over a course of a timeline, then you actually will, at the end of that timeline, have your outcome. And you want to do that as much as you possibly can. You want to do that in every aspect of your life. You want to do it all the time. You want to make it very systematic. If you're going to make food, you're going to make it systematic. If you're going to create bake a cake, I don't know how to bake a cake, but I would imagine you couldn't start with frosting. That frosting's not going to be the first, right? So you know what comes first. Then you start saying, okay, well, what comes second? And then what comes third? And I know this sounds very simple, but there's a lot of people that don't know how to create systems. They don't know how to create processes. What comes first? Okay, if I were to do it in a single line across the timeline, I have an hour to put this thing together. What do I need to do first? What do I need to do second? What do I need to do third? And please, as a coach, don't assume that people know this. Don't assume it. Do not assume it. And if people do know it, they don't take action on it. And so you want to make sure you repeat it and give them the repetition of it, because repetition, I'll tell you it again in just a moment, but repetition is the mother of skill. And when you realize that there is this aspect of being that each one of these things are a mandated aspect of my outcome. I'm going to build a car. I'll start with my frame. I'm going to then, weld in all of the bolts and everything. I'm going to put in the tires and the suspension, right? That's all systematic. When you do that, I'm almost out of time. When you do that, it's important that you do that with whatever you want outcomes from. If you want an outcome from something and you haven't started the process for it, then you'll never get your outcome. If you want an outcome for something and you haven't started the systems for it, you're not going to get it. And when you start to set that routine, whatever that is, my routine's not, I don't do the same thing every day. I do the same thing every week. So every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, unless I have some travel schedule that's already planned on my calendar, I have the same thing every week. I have the same thing every week. And when I travel, I do the same thing every time I travel. And it's it can be what people think is monotony, right? It's monotonous. But the fact is, the key to making money is monotony, doing the same thing over and over. The billionaires of the world, why do they wear the same thing? Why do they do the same thing? Why do they actually, I mean, it's like, why did Warren Buffett go 8 hours a day, read the same newspaper 8 hours a day? Wall Street Journal, just reading Wall Street Journal all day long, every single day, systematically wearing the same clothes, the same. And I don't do that. I'm not that kind of, shoot. I like fashion. I wish, but I don't wear the same clothes, wear the same stuff. Right? That's why that's the way that their mind works. Bill Gates, and we have different ideas of all the people that we're talking about. But the fact is he does the same thing, because they say it takes too much thinking out of the things that they're really working on. So systematically, they put themselves in a system that allows them to think on the things that they really care about, not the things that they don't. I care about fashion. I'm going to think about that as part of my brand. And so I want to make sure that I think about that. So you want to make sure you have your own thing, but think about monotony. This is the thing that when I tell young college students that are going to break out in the world. I said, find your routine and do it monotonous, do it with monotony in it. Just make sure that you are bored. Do it bored. Do it systematically bored, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And you'll find yourself living in a routine that gives you the success that you want. Find out what works and keep on working it. Don't change it. Don't change it. I learned the hard way, because I'm an innovator. I'm an inventor. I always want to do things new. Let's try the new thing. Let's get this new process. Let's get this new thing. And when I realized I'm so busy doing new things, and it's all very exciting, but I wasn't accomplishing anything. I'm looking around going, I'm getting nothing done doing all this new stuff. Why am I not accomplishing anything? It's because then I went and studied the people that were accomplishing. They were not doing new things. They would have new things, innovations that could help them be better at the same thing, but they weren't changing what they were doing. They were staying steady. And right now in this world where everything's new, the new this, the new that, we are sacrificing what works for what's new. And don't sacrifice what works for what's new. Stay with what works. And if you can incorporate what's new into what works, then do that. But if you can't, don't break what works to get something new, because then that new thing puts people on a learning curve that takes them out of the process of success, and then they're no longer in success. And so one of the goals I do for people, every year I start off with the first, I put out videos to helping people set goals. One of the things that I tell people to do is go back to what worked. That's what the first goal you should do, is go back to what worked. Because we have found that every time there's a new iPhone, there's a new something, there's a new this, there's a new that, we get rid of the old, even though it still works, just to get the new one, because we think the new one's going to be more efficient, but the learning curve is just so much more that you actually lose efficiency and you lose productivity. And so we sacrifice and we forget what worked, and we find ourselves working so hard to make something new work, and it doesn't always work. So stick with the monotony. The monotony means wearisome uniformity, the lack of variety, right? The lack of variety. So don't be that person that just always wants to change and do a new thing. It feels good to always be that. I'm an entrepreneur. I like that. Entrepreneurs like that constant feeling of doing something new. I'm planning doing something new, birthing something new. But when you're really going to make something happen in life, you want to make sure that you're that steady Eddie, right? You're steady Eddie. All right, let me give you one more, and then I'm going to let you go. I have a couple more things that I am going to give you three more if I can. Three more. Raise the stakes and raise the standards. Name your price and your compensation. That's one aspect. But raise the stakes and raise the standards. When you're going to go to, then you're going to constantly keep raising the stakes. So even if I'm doing something monotonous, the challenge is going to be that I'm going to raise the stakes on it. I'm going to go standard high on it. I'm going to increase the standards. I'm still doing the same thing, but I'm increasing the standards. When you're scaling a mountain, the first aspect of scaling that part of that mountain is it's like a hill, right? You're scaling a hill, you're like going, but then when you start to get higher on that mountain, man, the train changes, everything changes, the intensity of how you need to approach that changes. You're still scaling the same mountain, but because you're going higher, you're raising the stakes of it, you're going higher to the summit, you're going to have to give yourself new tools, and you're going to have to retool yourself and strengthen yourself, and it's going to give you more. You're going to have another level of endurance. So every time you raise the stake and every time you raise the standard, you have to increase your endurance with doing the same thing. Football players don't go out there and try to do the same thing. I mean, the different things. They have to learn to run. Basketball players are always being reminded, go back to the fundamentals, because the fact is that's what has all framed the game around. There's a few people that can take the fundamentals and make them look amazing, like a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or whoever may be your player may be, Scottie Pippen. You may have all of these things, but the realization when it comes down to it, you're going to raise the stakes on what already works, and you're going to just scale it. Just scale it. All right, the next aspect, and again, I'm talking about business. I'm talking about the how. I'm talking about the fact is you're going to have to actually, when you create these things, you're going to think about your customer in this. And if you write these things down, you will have a blueprint to how to build out a coaching system to help a client. Right, so that's what I wanted to give you today. The next aspect is I need to come back and do a whole session on this one. Analyze, reflect, subtract, and refine. You're gonna actually see that when you start to do all of that, you're scaling. There's some things that you don't want to take up the mountain. So you're gonna analyze it. You're gonna look at what your pack is. You're gonna reflect on how it's gonna be usable. What was usable was that I use it here. Well, I need it there. You're gonna subtract what you don't need. You're gonna leave it there at that base camp, and then you're gonna refine what you're gonna take to the next level, and you're gonna scale. Right? If you think about that mountaineer may start off with things that he plans to leave at a base camp that he can't take to the summit, and you want to make sure that you're thinking the same way. And you're gonna analyze. You're gonna reflect. You're gonna subtract, and you're gonna refine. Make that a part of your life, because everything you do when you're creating a system, a process, and part of that, you put out the system, we need this, 1, 2, these things in the systems and the process. You're going to have to go back and go, we're analyzing it. Okay, do we need that? Let's get rid of that. Reflect on it. Okay, that works. Subtract it, getting rid of that, right? Refine it. Then polish up, make things that work, make it more tighter, systematic, and then you're going to go to the next level. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. Hey, if you like this video, you'll also like this video here. And if you want to continue to receive content like this, just go ahead and push the notification bell, subscribe, and then share this. And then we will continue to get the word out and help people understand that God has a plan for them. Using the scripture, we'll go to our next level. We'll build something incredible and make his name great.